Hello, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful Facebook Live with my dear friend, Miss Megan Hale. How are you, Megan?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. I was just sharing with Megan that it feels right for me to pull a card just before we dive in, talking all about money from a really authentic, spiritual, soulful, grounded, anchored, give back kind of way. So I'd like everyone to just go ahead and close your eyes, sit up nice and tall, and take a breath. Let go of everything that has already occurred today. And come into the sensation of being in this moment, right here, right now. And please receive through me from the card. An idea manifests endless blessings, but you must act to bring the idea to life. The time is right. Know that the world is full of ideas floating around aimlessly until someone notices and breathes life into them. This is your time to shine. Have faith.
That's so good.
Yeah. Do you want to share your reflection of that card?
It actually reminds me of, have you read Big Magic?
I haven't actually. Mm-mm.
Okay. So it's a book by Elizabeth Gilbert. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, which is probably like my young 20s Bible. Like, oh my God, the journey. But there is this, like Big Magic is all around living a creative life. And how do we cope with fear and all of these things? And so one of the things that she talks about in the book is that inspiration is like always around us and is always looking for that person who wants to play with it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of that because she tells a story of how she had this idea for a book, but then she didn't end up taking action on it. It was like divine inspiration, but then it left her. Right. Mm-hmm. And then it ended up finding like the same premise, found another author, and she ended up writing the book. And it was like just such a really cool story. So this idea of like inspiration being there and it's like ours to take action on, I love that so much. But even from like weaving that into the money conversation, I think the thing that I love so much about talking about money is that it's not just a thinking game, if you will. Like we actually have to do something with it and build muscles and mastery and tools to really start to shift into something different. So I think it resonates for me on two levels.
Yeah. I think that's really beautiful. And I actually was listening to an Abraham Hicks this morning, and they were talking about how everything that you desire, it's all here. It's just about aligning in that energetic vibration, and the idea of all of these ideas and creation aspects all around you. You just need to open yourself to receive that and to anchor it in and to bring it into this physical realm. And in doing so, it brings up a lot sometimes of your fears and your worries and your doubts and your who am I to do this? But how much of a beautiful impact can be made when you actually follow that divine guidance from within.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love how we just start right there.
I know.
This is the back of the card, everybody. It's so beautiful. Megan, why don't you give us a little intro. Who are you? Who's Megan all about?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think the coffee house version is I'm a Profit First business strategist and money mentor. And if you're not familiar with Profit First, it's a cash flow management system that I'm certified in that really helps you know how to run a business that's both sustainable and profitable. And so that's one of the tools that I'll use with my clients that just helps you feel so much more masterful and clear about what you need to be doing with your money. Because I think a lot of times it's like, well, I just need to be making more. And it's like, well, more is great. And we also need to have like tools and clarity around what we're going to be doing with it as well to make sure that it's intentionally doing what we want it to do in the world. So that's that piece. But I think the thing that's also part of me when you are in my space or learning from me is that I'm also a former psychotherapist. And so the thing that I think just informs this whole conversation is that I'm not a typical like numbers person. I have become a numbers person. But when I talk about money, it's always a feelings first kind of place. And so I love bringing in lots of different theory that and how we relate to people and how we actually apply that into how we're relating to money. So I love being able to just infuse all of this goodness into the money conversation and explore it from so many different angles because it's truly a robust concept. And I think sometimes people can oversimplify it. And I don't think that does it justice or honors all that money is for us, you know?
Yeah. And so everybody that's watching right now, I see that we've got Jenny here and Sabrina's here. That's amazing. And I think there's a few others. Go ahead and comment in. Be honest with yourself and maybe even share this with us right now. How do you feel when it comes to talking about money? How do you feel when you talk about either how much money you have or how much money you want to make or how much money you wish you had because you don't in this moment? What sort of sensations arise when you think about it or when you talk about it? Because I know for me, I was taught from my dad very young about how to manage my money, but I still hated talking about it. It either felt like I had more than someone, therefore I had to keep it hidden, or I had less than someone, therefore I had to keep it hidden. It never felt safe to actually talk about either what I wanted, where I was at, or even how to get anywhere else when it comes to money.
Yes.
And Megan, what has your experience with your clients been like through that journey of that conversation of diffusing all of the like emotional attachment that we have with money?
Well, I mean, first of all, money is one of the most emotionally charged topics there is. Like money, politics, sex, religion, like all four of those. And we all have very strong messaging around what money means, what wanting money means. Yeah. That is a lot for us to explore and re-examine. And I think for most of my clients, even just having the conversation around money is liberating because there's not a lot of money positive spaces, really. Yeah. And so that's one of my purposes is like, we need to be talking about money because it's always operating in the background, whether you want to acknowledge it or not.
Always.
You know, like money it's political, it's powerful, it's spiritual, it's all of these things. And so we need to be bringing it forth, talking about it just like we would anything else, you know, and just taking out that negative connotation. At the end of the day, like money is just money. And also money is truly what you make it. And so what do you want to get intentional about, like what you're making money mean?
So good. And it's fascinating too, because I spent the first few years of my business being really shy about even learning about money, even being willing to look into a money course or getting someone to support me with my inner dialogue around money. But I was so frustrated I wasn't making more. And it was like I stepped into this business world, and I have a business degree, took like 1 or 2 finance classes. That was it. I have a business degree, stepped into this business world, but just wanted to focus on impact. That's all I wanted. I don't even care how much money I make. I want to make a difference. Yes. And it's possible. It is possible for me to be abundant and prosperous and to give back and to give to myself. And it's okay to want money.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. I'm so glad that you bring that up because I think, you know, one of the things that I really had to navigate early on in my own money journey is this idea of like, I wanted to be impact driven and purpose driven and really creating a ripple effect of change in the world with my gifts and you know, the tools that I bring to the table. And for some reason, it felt like if I brought money into that conversation, then that desire wasn't as pure. Right?
Yes, that's exactly it. It feels like it's impure to even think about wanting money in exchange for your heart-centered gifts. Yes.
Okay. So I distinctly remember when I started my business, I used to pray for purity around my purpose, almost asking for the divine to remove this desire for money because I felt like it was creating so much heartache for me and I didn't know how to hold the dichotomy. Yeah. And what's really been brilliant, Dee, is looking at where I am today and the purity in which I get to hold money now of saying, wow, what an answered prayer, right? And that it was never about taking away the desire for money. It was getting really intentional with how I wanted to hold that desire and what I made that desire mean. Yes. And so I want to create space for people that you don't have to choose between being purpose-driven and profit-focused. We absolutely get to be both. We get to choose both. And if you're here to run a business, your business needs money to do its big work in the world. And so like, let's get real honest about like, money is like the air your business needs to breathe. Yeah. And when we can say like, how is your business breathing? It's like, what is it that you need to give or do for your business to feel like it has the resources it needs so you can be the big change agent you want to be in the world, you know?
Oh, you guys who are watching, Megan is she's, I mean, you can tell, but she is just so incredible. And the way that she works with her clients is by giving, like you were just talking about, giving that profit first concept or bringing in the profit, the strategies, the resources, as well as in conjunction with how are you impacting the world? How are you being the change that you want to see? Can you tell us just a little bit, just tell us a little bit more about that, those kind of two, bringing them together in the work that you do?
Yes. So I think one of the things that I've noticed is that when we're talking about like the mindset piece and like shifting into a different dynamic with money, first of all, this isn't just around understanding your beliefs and the mental gymnastics that we might need to do. The thing that I really think is important is we start to examine the unique relationship that we have with it. So what I mean by that is, how are you showing up for money if you want money to show up for you?
Oh, just pause there. Just pause there. You guys, we've done the conscious relationships work together. It's all about, if you're expecting something from your partner, are you willing to actually show up in that way? This is the exact same thing. It's your relationship with money.
Yes. Yes. I mean, there's so many things that I could talk about with that. Like the way that we are codependent with money, like there's all these things. So I think that that's really interesting to start personifying money and giving it a people focus, because it starts, like, you start to see things in a completely different light. And that from that place, we get to be a lot more intentional. That takes it so much deeper than just mindset alone. Like, what are you doing differently, in regards to money? But the strategy piece, I never in a million years thought that I would end up here talking about money. Okay. Ever. But when I look back on all my spiritual journey, my grandmother has always been a prominent financial figure in my life. And she had so many strong money beliefs that really were not super serving me. So I was not living my financial truth for a long time, which is why I think I'm so passionate about helping people really cultivate what your financial truth is first and foremost. Because I think that's one way that we live into our financial integrity of like the money we're here to earn and how we want to hold it and all of these things. But if we don't have the tools at our disposal to really get intentional with how we want to amplify our money in the world, then it's like we're not having the full conversation. Yeah. And so one of the things I'm really big on is helping you build a give back into your business. Mm-hmm. So, this week, hi guys, I'm like reading the comments. This week, I'm leading a free mini course I know we'll talk about eventually. But one of the things we're going to be talking about on Thursday in particular is something I'm rolling out called the 2% pledge, of really making a public and personal promise that you'll be a 2%, at least 2% giving company within the next 12 months, of really starting to see that every single dollar that comes in your door has a lot of meaning to it. Because it allows you to go and do other things in the world. And I know that you have just raised funds for a family in Costa Rica, I believe.
Yeah, we also raised money for the local Indigenous Health Center. And in my business, it's 10% of annual revenue is given to others. Not always just through charity, but is given in some way. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think that like cultivating a giving muscle and like really getting intentional with how you want that to look inside your business.
Yes.
So incredibly important. But the other thing that I think is also important is starting to anchor your money goals into like your actual dreams. Because I think most of the time it's like, well, I just want to make 6 figures. Or we hear this story, like these people define success for you. It's like, it's 10K months or 20K months or blah, 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 blah. I've had that. I've literally felt like it was shoved down my throat for the first few years of business. And that was the benchmark that I was using. And it never felt good for me.
So it had no relation to you. It was just
no meaning.
Something in front of you.
No meaning whatsoever. And so that's why the first thing I do with my clients is I help them get clear on what your personal goals are first and foremost. And not only that, but I want you to prioritize those goals, because most of the time we're like, well, I want to hit and we dilute our focus and we dilute our energy. And I want to create a container for my clients to feel potent. And so one way that we do that is really getting clear on what's most important first and foremost, and then using that priority to really anchor in how much money you truly need to be generating. And so one of the things that I teach inside the money map, there is a specific calculator in there that will actually calculate down to the dollar how much your business needs to generate in order to fund your dreams. And it's so much more meaningful than just pulling like 6 figures or 10K months. Like it will say like $231,496. And you're like, holy shit.
And that's a number. So unique to you as well. And so even if it is a 6-figure number and maybe it's just over what you thought it was going to be, it's your own unique blueprint. Like this is what you're moving towards. This is what your soul is calling you towards for these dreams that you envision yourself living out and being of service through.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's like, this is why you need to earn that money.
Yeah.
Right. And so it just completely reverse engineers the process. And I have found that it's just so helpful for people who are more purpose driven and really like heart centered. It's like creating meaningful money is something that will also create motivation and momentum in ways that we cannot cultivate without that, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So I love that perspective so much. It makes money just feel so much richer and how you're collaborating with it and co-creating with it and all of these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And ladies, those of you in the Empowered Women Collective, you've seen me post a few times over the last 6 or so months about my own money journey. And I've only been posting little tidbits because I'm going deep within for my own experience. And in time, I will come out and be sharing more. But one of the big pieces that needed to change for me was the ickiness of it. And I was uncomfortable asking for a sale. I was uncomfortable sharing my work, even though I knew that my work had such a powerful ability to create change in a woman's life. I felt icky sharing my gifts because it was related to money. And that was some of the work that I had to go deep into to start shifting and realizing that the money, it actually isn't, that's not the focal point here. The focal point is creating that change. But what I love about your work, Megan, is it allows money to also stay a focal point, but in a really, as you said, like a rich way, and not like, oh, I'm so loaded, look at all this money I have, but like that full spectrum, full embodiment, abundance, prosperity, I am healing the world kind of way.
Well, that's power to me.
Yeah.
It's really stepping into your ability to be a creator, like a conscious creator of your reality, but also what you're dismantling in the world,
yes,
or elevating in the world. And we can do both of those things with money. But the thing that came up for me as you were talking is I think that there's a lot of talk, like just around the sales process or pricing your offers of like charge your worth, right? Charge your value. I can guarantee you, like, that is not the big issue here. You especially if you've done a lot of inner work, because you know how valuable you are. You know everything that you bring to the table. You know the price point that you want to charge.
Yeah.
Those pieces are already figured out for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
Although the industry will make us second guess it, which is a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
But bringing the comfortability around money into that's going to change how that drastically feels.
Yeah.
Which I love so much. I struggle charging for spiritual energy offerings. And it's like, so one of the things, I did a whole money series on Wild and Holy Radio back in last year. And one of the episodes, which I think that you would really love, I can't see any names, by the way.
This is Dina.
Dina.
I just went and had the privilege of doing some booty in her yoga studio. We just got real sweaty at 8 a.m. together. It was amazing.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So one of the episodes, though, is called Wealthy and Holy, Holy and Wealthy. Mm-hmm. And I think that it would be really, really helpful because it talks about how we actually choose both of those things, especially understanding the spiritual component of money. So definitely go and check that episode out.
I'll see if I can grab that link and post it here. Or Dina, if you by chance find it, could you post it here too, please, so that others can appreciate that as well? That'd be really great. Thank you.
Yes.
So before we dive into the next piece that I want to talk about, I just want to check in. Everyone who's watching, comment in and let us know how you're feeling. What's coming up for you in this conversation, whether that is a sense of even some discomfort, even just around hearing this conversation, or perhaps it's creating a bit of a fire, igniting something within you that maybe now is the time for you to start shifting the way that you're looking at money or speaking about money, or even that inner dialogue around money and how important it is for your impact in this world and your ability to step into co-creation and power and having influence and impact from a positive heart-centered place. Jenny's saying thank you. Love to you, Dina. And Terry is here with us. This is beautiful. Hi, Taylor. Hi, Cassie Marie. Hi, Sabrina. Dina's feeling hopeful. Beautiful.
Good. Feeling connected and understood. I am so, so grateful. One of the things, it's so interesting that another podcast episode is coming up for me, because in this talk about power, one of the things is like, well, when we start talking about money and stepping into more of it and all these things, it's like, well, I'm afraid of like being, like, it's not that we're afraid of like failing. It's really that we're afraid of being successful, right?
Yeah, just I have a sense I know where you're going. I have been writing down in my journal for months, because it's still something I'm moving through, is I trust myself with a lot of power. I trust myself with a lot of money.
Yes, because one of the things that I have found is that it can block us. It's a self-sabotage behavior where like, I'm not fully comfortable stepping into power, because when we step into more money, there is a certain responsibility that comes with it, right?
Yes.
And so one of the things that shows up is like, well, I don't know how I will handle that much money. I don't know what I will do with that money. I don't want to be open to criticism if I have that money. What will people think, and all of those things. And so what you're really afraid of is the power that's associated with that money. But the thing that I think is really important is that we don't make assumptions around who we're going to be when we're there, and give ourselves permission to grow into that person and build those bridges as we go. Because I can promise you, as you start to step into more money, you're going to learn how you want to hold it, how you want to handle it, how you're going to manage it, and all of those things. So trust that future version of you that she's already got it figured out, right?
Yeah, don't knock her down yet. She's got skills. She knows how to handle it. She knows how to call in the support she needs. She knows how to get the resources that she needs in order to support herself. Don't cut her down yet. She's got plenty of time to grow.
Exactly.
So I'm wondering, Megan, can you share with us a bit about what's going on this week with this beautiful course that you're offering online?
Yes. Okay. So I have something that I think is a little bit disruptive, but I'm hoping you guys are totally open to it.
I have a sense we are.
So one of the things that really kept me stuck in creating business growth, especially financial business growth, for a long time, is this idea that I just needed to do more money mindset work. And that was the thing that was preventing me from creating the financial reality I desired. Mm-hmm. The mini course I'm doing this week is how to step into more money without having to heal your money story first. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because when we start talking about a money story, this is a very complex and robust topic. Not only do we have our own family of origin beliefs that we've been handed down, our transgenerational money story, we have the macro culture in which we were raised, whether that be our community, our churches, spiritual institutions, all of those things. We also have the systems of oppression that are always operating in the background, telling you how successful you're allowed to be, how much money you're allowed to hold, and all of these other things, right? So it's a lot to unpack, a lot. Mm-hmm. And so if we spend all of our work doing the healing work first, there can be that thing that happens where we try and get to the end of the healing work, or we try and perfect our inner work.
I've never done
that. What I want to invite everyone into is you can step into money now and heal at the same time. It doesn't have to be healing first, then earn. And earning is not a reward that we get once we've done enough inner work. Like that's, if you take nothing away from anything today, please hear that, because I think that is something that is sold that is very damaging, where we think, well, I just have to do the inner work and then I'll be rewarded. Of course, there's going to be tons of rewards that come from inner work. Don't get me wrong. I am living proof and testament of that. But it doesn't necessarily translate into dollars in your bank account unless you intentionally design it to. And so that's what I want to help you create inside this free mini course. It's a 5-part video series that's super digestible, giving you one bite-sized piece every single day to start creating some momentum.
Mm-hmm. I love that you even just describe it as bite-sized and digestible in that, because I don't know about you, but I found there's just so many resources online right now, especially with COVID, everyone working from home, more online. There's so many courses you can participate in. And so who would you say that this course is really for? Like, who here watching is already feeling that pull, and you know that this is what they're looking for. This is who they are.
You want to make more money and you want to feel good about doing it.
Hashtag feel good money.
Feel good money, yes. But I will be specific. Like, I really am passionate about working with equity-driven entrepreneurs. Like, you really want to step into more money, not just for your own personal joy and well-being of it, but to also do something powerful with it. And that's what I want to invite you into. And so the Feel Good Money mini course is 100% free. Everybody has gotten so much value out of it. I led it the first time in August. So I wanted to do it again with a little bit of a different spin, really talking about all of these different facets and windows, if you will, for how to start thinking about money differently. But we'll also be talking about the money map, which is a profit planning tool I've developed that really takes all of these concepts and anchors them into like very tangible, actionable like strategy of what to do different with your money and how to start co-creating it with it in a really real way.
I love this. So good. Okay, we've got some amazing comments coming in. So one of the questions is, what if I'm just thinking of a new business, not launched yet? Does this still make sense for me?
Yes. I have people who have joined me in the mini. Here's the thing. If you're going to run a business, the quicker and earlier you can start thinking about money from a money positive space, the more successful you will find your business to be. The more we avoid money, the more we don't do the money work, I can tell you, the more you will likely financially struggle. And so if you can start doing some of this work now and start bringing in tools at your disposal, oh my gosh, like to think that I could help an entrepreneur who hasn't even launched yet start to think about money in these ways, like it's going to drastically shift the trajectory. But I have people who are in my world who've been entrepreneurs for like 10 years, right? And still have not had those money tools that they've needed to really start to create the momentum that they want, that's also grounded in sustainability and ease and all of these other things. And so I know that this might feel like too good to be true when I say the mini course and the money map can literally help every single entrepreneur, but I truly do believe it because it's so incredibly flexible and intuitive, and just it meets you where you are and adapts to you and your dreams. So everyone, if you want money to feel better, like this is the thing. It'll help, promise.
This is so good. Jenny says, what an incredible offering. And Sabrina, I shared the link for you there. It's also at the top in the description. The link is there to join Megan. The first video went out today, and then there's 4 more this week. Is that correct?
Yeah. So when you sign up, you'll get immediate access to the first lesson. And then you'll just click next lesson to get all of the lessons. There's lesson 0 that went out today, which is how to have a successful mini course experience. And then there's also your first lesson as we really dismantle the 4 biggest issues with this whole money healing narrative.
Okay, amazing. I'm just jumping back and forth trying to make sure I can see all of the comments coming in. That's what I'm doing here, you guys.
Divine timing. I love it.
We've got some beautiful, beautiful energy being felt for what it is that you're offering, Megan. And I think it's because it's just so important. And especially seeing in a world right now where so many things that we may have perceived were concrete or solid in our lives, and that foundation has been dismantled and shooken up and gone crazy at times, it's even more important now than ever for us to feel secure and solid within ourselves, that we can take care of ourselves. And financial abundance and prosperity is essential for us to take care of ourselves. And Megan, what do you envision in the world when, let's even just say, every single person on this call right now is able to come into their full abundance that is within them, when they're able to feel confident and feel good about money? What do you believe is possible?
Like my biggest dream. Like,
yeah.
Like that is my biggest dream. I think, and that's twofold. One, when you feel like you are masterful with your money and you have a very steady, grounded relationship with it, what you believe is possible for you totally expands. Where you not only think, because I think there's a difference between thinking things are possible and thinking that they're probable. And I want to help close that gap. Many of my clients come to me with big dreams. Like, I want to open up, a multi-million-dollar retreat center in the jungle of Mexico. I'm only making like $60K a year right now. That does not feel probable to me. I can actually help you map that out so it does. And the execution of making that dream real also feels manageable, right? I think when we have those tools, it just completely shifts your reality, what you're experiencing, but also how you feel going and creating that thing in the world. But the other level of that is, I want you to imagine that you have things going on in your community that break your heart. There are people in your world who could really use help, and you're able to step in and say, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Like, and I want you to think about what that would feel like. That is the power of stepping into money mastery. Like, I can't even tell you how many moments there have been when somebody earlier this year lost their whole house in a fire out on the West Coast, and being able to step in and say, I got you, take this, like, please let me offer some support for you and your family, right? Or it's contributing to systemic change of like, how can we create less financial disparity? Like, there's so much we can do when we're resourced. And the idea of having like compassionate entrepreneurs who like care about world issues being more resourced, like, there is nothing better than that for me.
Yeah. I don't have the words It just is necessary. And this is what, for me, writing my book was about, was women coming into the strength they have from within. And Megan, the way that I observe, see, and witness you is that you help bring those tools into their hands. And not only that, but you also help give them the insight, the motivation, the possibility within themselves to use the tools. Because everybody has incredible tools at their disposal, but you bring both of those aspects. And you just bring such a balanced view, not only of money, but of life. And I'm just so happy that we were put in a group together ages ago when we were at Sparkling Hill together, because I got the chance to get to know you, and it just keeps evolving and growing. And I'm so excited for those of you who are watching and are feeling this deep connection with Megan, which I knew you would, which is why I brought her here. And let's just bring it home, Megan. What's one thing from your heart that you can feel right now that you would love to share with anyone who feels aligned with what it is that you're sharing? What's something that you want them to know, or something you want to say?
I think the thing that comes to mind immediately is, first of all, like, I want you to know I haven't always had a relationship with money that's felt this way. This has actually been something I've struggled with immensely for the grand majority of my life. And I remember in the early stages, like, learning from mentors who were like, yeah, money just feels so great and blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, that is not possible for me. Like, I feel so far away from that reality. Like, I don't even know that exists or is even available to me. And so the thing that I want to offer you is, no matter how money feels for you right now, because I know that it can feel heavy, it can feel dark, it can feel like it's abandoned you. Like, there's a lot of stuff that can come up with our money. That something different is possible, because I've lived it and I see it every single day. And it's a lot closer than you think. But we have to do more of not just the inner work, but also bringing in the tools. It's really a both and game. And so that's what I want to invite you into, that there is something different that's possible for you. Feel Good Money is available to all of us. All of us.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for being here, Megan.
Thanks for having me.
I'll make sure I post the link again, ladies. Go ahead, join Megan this week, and follow her. She's incredible. I know you want some more of her, and she's got so much to give. I'll see y'all soon.
Bye.